People, let's get started with today's video. Of course, we're going to be talking about the fight for undisputed. Beterbiev versus Bivol took place yesterday. I had made my prediction, and I said that Beterbiev was going to win. But what I didn't expect or put into my calculations was that Bivol was going to survive the onslaught that Beterbiev is known to put out. And the reason for that is because you can't really quantify heart and determination and just the will to survive. That is something, the human factor, those types of little things like that, you can't really quantify. And that is why, a lot of times it's hard to predict if a person is going to make it out of, something like Beterbiev. um, it's just, you know, it was a close fight. All right, it's closer than I expected it to be, but it pretty much went how I thought it was gonna go. I did say that Bevo was gonna start off strong, and if he had a chance to um, hurt Beterbiev, if it was gonna be in the earlier rounds, and that he was gonna start to fade down the stretch, just because of the nature of his style and going up against someone like Beterbiev, inevitably what happens in these situations for the most part is that the quote unquote boxer starts to fade down the stretch and begins to lose the fight. This is what happens historically, by the way. You look at Frazier versus Ali, the boxer lost. You look at what else? Um, Chavez versus, let's say Chavez versus Mayweather, Roger Mayweather. Um, and the same thing happened there, you know. And I could keep going. I just didn't make a list. I should have made a list of them. But usually the quote unquote brawler or the caveman, you could say in a way, usually wins. Wins. Get mad. Sounded like Nacho Libre. I wanna win. All right, but you know, a lot of people online are saying that it was a robbery, and but then at the same time they said that it was a close fight. But that's impossible. It can't be a robbery and be a close fight. It's either one or the other. You got to make up your mind, and because it can't be a robbery and a close fight. You know, I think it could have gone either way, but I think that the right person won. I think Beterbiev um, was pushing the action, and he's the one. I think he's the one that has the most belts. I think Bevo only had two, and he was trying to get, the ones that were left. Um, and so in this situation, it's almost like Beterbiev is the champion. You have to not just survive him, you have to take it from him. And I don't feel like Bevo did that at all. You know, um, and he also faded. Like I said, he faded it later down the stretch. He definitely won the first three, um, and Bevo did. And then, but at the end of all of those rounds, Beterbiev, you know, would catch him with a little something, just like a little souvenir, so he could go sit down and think about it, or what was gonna happen later, and um, yeah, he just picked it up down the stretch. A lot of people are bringing up the CompuBox, and you know, this shows the lack of knowledge of boxing knowledge of some people, that they bring up something like CompuBox. When CompuBox counts every punch you land, even if you landed in the arms, even if you landed if you don't land flush, and it doesn't matter to CompuBox. CompuBox is gonna count it as a landed shot, which means that it's a horrible way. It's a horrible way to judge a fight. It's not even the amateurs counted that way. Amateurs, they you have to land a proper punch for them to count it as an actual punch. And I could show you like in a video what exactly that is. Actually, at the beginning of the gloves, they had like a little spot on the glove that showed you with what part of the glove had to land. So they didn't just count anything that landed. You had to land a proper punch in order for them to count it. Now we're talking about professionally. Professionally, everything changes. Professionally, judges aren't judging by how many punches you land. If you want to research it, go research it yourself. I'm not gonna explain it to you, but it's not. CompuBox has nothing to do, especially when it's only 5 punches of difference. It's only 5 punches of difference, and then you got to divide that by 12 rounds and see where they landed in the trajectory of the fight, who was winning the fight. Like, this is what I always tell people that think this way. Who would you rather be in the fight? Would you rather be Bebo or Beterbiev? Because I'll tell you right now, the way Bebo was getting hit in this fight, I would not want to be Bebo. Now, on the other hand, the way Bebo, you know, kind of smacks people around a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be embarrassing, but I don't think it would be that bad. You know, um, if I had to choose, basically, I'm not saying that he hits like a bitch. I'm not saying that he'd probably knock me out too. Um, but what I'm trying to say is obviously the harder puncher and the person that was getting hit the hardest was Bebo. Um, and um, and also I feel like if the fight would have gone a little longer, he would have gotten even more tired. And Bebo just seemed like he was picking up his punch output as the fight was going on. So I feel like if the fight would have gone like two more rounds or 3 more rounds, Viterbi would have won. So um, so that's what I think. So I don't go by copybooks, and I also don't go by the majority of what people are saying, because people think that because the majority of people are saying, or that all the experts are saying it, that you have to fall in line with that. And my thing is, um, I don't believe that. All right, the majority usually is wrong from my experience. Okay, from my experience, um, you know, I know it sounds like I'm like an authoritarian or something like that, or someone that doesn't believe in democracy. And to a certain extent, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The majority of people are don't know nothing about boxing. Okay, so and then you look at 99.9% of people have follower mentalities. You look at other statistics, especially here in the U.S., and you know that our education system sucks. And I'm just talking about this because it kind of gives you a pattern of looking at things your own way. Because if you're a follower, you're going to go with the masses, and the masses, like I said, they're stupid and they don't know what they're looking at. And then we take it to boxing. The hardcores are very few and in between, and the casuals, the people that don't know that much about boxing, are the majority. So if we look at that, you don't want to go with the masses, regardless if they're professional or not, regardless if that's what they dedicate their life to or not. Because I just heard one of the guys said that uh, Benavides is going to beat Beterbiev somehow. And this is an expert, quote unquote expert, the guy who talks to, you know, actual boxers all the time. All right. And there's other people that say that you can't argue with professionals, but then professionals themselves argue with each other about who won and who lost, which means that they don't even know. So what do you mean I can't argue with professionals because they it's stupid. That's a stupid argument. If that was the case, then all of the professional boxers would unanimously agree on one issue. But the fact of the matter is that you got someone like um, who was it? Bradley, right? Bradley, I think, said that Beterbiev won. I think I don't remember exactly, but you got all these professionals, and they all don't agree. Now the majority of them are saying that it was a robbery and that Bebo won and all of this. So my thing is, I'm not swayed by the crowds because I've seen um, historically, I've seen the masses pick wrong constantly. Like constantly, it's. I mean, let's look at let's keep it in boxing. Let's look at Ali. Most people hated Ali when he was coming up. Most people hated Ali. They wanted to see him lose. Even at the beginning of his career, they say he talked too much, and they wanted Buster Douglas to win. Towards the middle of his career, they hated him because he didn't go to war um, in Vietnam, and he was a traitor, this, that, and the other. It was only until later when he started picking up um, recognition and stuff like that, right? So, and I could keep going. I mean, it's this just keeping it in boxing because I don't want to get into politics and stuff like that. But it's all through our history. We've always, unfortunately, been on the wrong side of history, and that's why I'm not swayed by the people. I'm not. So it doesn't matter to me that most of the professionals think Bevo won, and most of the people think Bevo won. It's like, who cares? What did you see? Um, this is a sad one too, right? And it's sad not for Bevo because Bevo's doing his thing, and Bevo gave a hell of a fight, and he has nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, he was the only one who ever survived Beterbiev. Beterbiev before this fight had a 100% KO ratio, which means that everybody he entered the ring into with him lost by KO. They either gave up or they just couldn't get up, or the point is he knocked everybody out. So it's a victory within itself, and there's going to be a rematch, right? So that's good too. It got the people going, it got the people talking. So it's a victory, even though it was a loss. Okay, from my opinion, it is. Some people may not be able to see that, but that's fine. But you got this girl here, um, happy because Bevo lost, and acting like it's a victory for her. And it's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. It's like, and it reminds me of a lot of boxing fans here in the U.S. Um, to where they live their life through these boxers, and they think that because they look like them or because whatever reason that they won as well. If you're making money off of it, obviously you won something, you won money. But if not, just take it as a sport that you enjoy watching and just move on. Start making it about yourself. And not only fans have this attitude, but for example, Tank Davis is one of the examples. But most boxers do this in boxing today. Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney, and Tank Davis took it as his own victory. and acted like he was the one who won. you know, and it's all across the board. I mean, I could make more examples. Shakur Stevenson does it a couple of times as well. All across the board, we have boxers that act, and people here, fans here in the U.S. and everywhere as well, but mainly here, that act like this lady here, which is sad. And that's what I think about most of you fans and most of the boxers that act the same way as she does. So I know most people hate her, but also look at the people you follow and notice that they act the same way as her. And maybe you should hold them accountable as well. The other thing I was going to say really quick, this is very common, by the way. This type of behavior where your baby mama, um, hates you, and you know. But what I wanted to say is the main people that are being affected, you know, with these types of behaviors are the kids. The kids are the ones that suffer the most, and the kids are the ones that are embarrassed by this type of behavior. So I don't know how Beterbiev, I mean, how Beterbiev, I mean, said the same thing just differently. How Bebo is taking it. If I would have seen this in my ex act like this, I would have been sad for her and for the kids because those are the main people being affected. I hear that she's a person that wants to be famous, and is kind of um, how can I say this? She's I guess you could say like mad at the world that she didn't make it somehow, and she's using this as a way to become famous herself. So obviously, it's extremely sad. The best thing you could do with people like this is just ignore them. I mean, she's killing herself really, and her kid, because this is going to be embarrassing for the kid, and if not, it's gonna fill the kid up full of hate for his father and maybe even his own mother. Um, and like I said, the kids are the ones that are affected the most um, in these types of relationships that go this way. But people don't think about that. They really don't care. So moving on to what that guy said, that somehow David Benavidez is going to beat. It's going to stop. Is going to stop. That's what he said. Beterbiev, and I think that's ridiculous. This is a guy who is already a weight bully. I was gonna say gay bully. I don't know. He's already a weight bully. Okay, so he most of the people he fights and he beats it's because he's bigger, right? And he just wears people down. But we saw what happened when he faced a guy, that was about his same size, right? A little bigger maybe. Didn't really do too well against him. Some people actually think he lost, which goes to show you that he didn't do very well in that fight. Um, the other thing is that I saw fear in Benavidez's not just eyes, but just his demeanor. There was fear once he figured out that he couldn't hurt his opponents. That means that he has the mentality of a bully. He has the mentality of someone who only fights when he knows that he could hurt his opponents, or he knows that he could push them around. Once he sees that the opponent is equal to him or can give a little bit more, then he starts to cower. He starts to realize that it's an actual fight. It means he's not an actual fighter. And that means that when he faces somebody like Berterbi, which he's not going to face, by the way, because he's not going to go in there with a guy who actually has a chance to beat him. That's not the way he thinks. Um, Berterbi stops him, dude, like in, I don't know, like 6 rounds or something like that. I don't know, but he stops him. Um, or maybe he has heart, but I just don't think he does. The way he acts, to adversity and the way the trajectory of his career and the people he's faced, it doesn't seem like he does. You know, uh, just my opinion personally. But that is gonna be it for today, guys. I just have to say one last thing. There's people making it about religion, which is hilarious to me. You know, it's not about religion, guys. It's not even about politics, because that's the main thing. That's one of the things that has killed a lot of these other genres, or gotten in the way, is politics. Bringing politics into um, an art form. You know, and people always want to, like, you got all these guys online talking about, you know go woke, go broke, or something like that, and that's how they make their living. Controversial things that they say. And you got people on the other side, talking about, oh, you don't have that many black people or gay people on your show, so that means it sucks. So both of these people are killing art forms across different genres. Be it gaming, be it movies, be it whatever. Both of these sides are annoying and kill the art form, from my point of view. And when it comes to boxing, it seems like we got the same people talking about, oh, Viterbi won because he's a Muslim, and Turkey's a Muslim too, and that's why they gave him the fight. And I mean, there we go. The same people that are fucking around, killing all of these other genres, can now coming into boxing and trying to infect boxing. And I mean, it's the same type of people, right? My thing is, it's not about that. It's about who won. It's about who showed their prowess in the ring. And even Turkey said it himself that he thought that Bevo won. Okay, so that's contrary to what some of you idiots might think. Um, so there you go. He's trying to make a rematch. So I would say this: there is some Muslims out there that are also making it about race, and to them, I just want to say, if you look at history, right? If you look at history, most of the time Christians win. Okay, you go Ali versus Frazier. I just mentioned it. Who won? The Christian, Frazier. Barrera versus Nasir Ahmed. Who won? The Christian, Barrera. Just recently, the quote unquote Christian Ryan Garcia beat the quote unquote Muslim Devin Haney. So, I mean, you could go all throughout history, and it's always been the case that the Christian usually wins. And the reason I bring that up is just in case somebody wants to get froggy on the other side. Settle that dude down. Um, it's just the way it is. All right. By the way, it was funny, just really quick. Um, they asked Bevo if Beterbiev punches hard, and he was like, "Yes, of course he is hard. I was blocking the shots, and look at my face." so, so he was pretty much saying that even if he blocked the shots, they were hurting. So, and I mean, it doesn't mean that he was blocking all of them, but he was just trying to say, like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you block with this guy, it hurts. Uh, that's crazy. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.